lot of fun, and I was really excited to hear when I was showing with Shannon because I've uh, looked up to her as a professional and also an artist, and her energy and her love for what she does, and it's inspiring. And so it was really fun to get to show with her, and it was really a happy accident, or like a maybe serendipitous or something, that I started working with bronze a little bit more, and the patinas and the bronze itself kind of have played off Shannon, like Andy was saying, have played off Shannon's colors really well. I thought that was really interesting because it's like the way they patina these bronzes patina, they're like real earthy, and I guess that makes sense because Shannon's art is so earthy as well. And I thought that was just kind of fun that happened, but gosh, it takes a little bit while because I like Shannon. I'm kind of like all over the place, and so there's this show, and it's been a little while, and my brain's already like half a mile, uh, like doing different stuff now, but not different, same, but it's like a constant, like each art kind of just like um, leads on to the next, right? So like um, the gosh, so what am I trying to explain? Gosh, so the sculptures and the fun and the the kind of cute whimsical thing that I'm going for kind of started out with these guys that kind of have these thin legs and stuff, and that kind of just stemmed from uh, trying to make them a little bit more playful, trying to make my art more simple. And I was thinking like how many elements can I take away from the bird but still kind of like show that it's a bird, right? And so like take away the neck. It's got to have, you know, a long beak. Maybe it doesn't need a long beak or something, right? But the wings are important, and sometimes they're not important. And so that was just really fun to play with. And then once I make those, right, then I kind of try to take it to a different place. So like um, if so if I made pieces with like long legs, then I'd be like, well, what's short legs look like? And if it's a small beak, what does big beak look like? And it just kind of like each piece just kind of leads to the next, and that's just kind of how the whole my artistic process as a whole just kind of works. I guess just kind of jump from like one thing to the next, and so it's like um, and I've worked with spray paint, so it's like how can I incorporate spray paint with my bronzes, or how can I incorporate my woodwork with my bronzes, or what can I do with my stencils that's different. And so the idea with Kaleidoscope over there, the furthest to the right, was to use the same stencil but to flip it and kind of create this like mirrored kaleidoscope effect, and that was a lot of fun to play with. Um, I I've had a lot of fun working with these stencil pieces because it's like it's like working with stencils is interesting because it takes away one aspect, the brushing, right? But it still like separates the colors, so you can play with the fading and the layering of the spray paint itself. And so when I cut my stencils out, I draw out the image and then cut out stencils on plastic sheets, and typically they're like 7 or 8, sometimes 11 to 15 different pieces, and I kind of just spray paint and layer and then go back to the first layer or the third layer or the fifth layer. I kind of build these, kind of like when we were talking about that artist that you brought up, that's the layers and stuff like that, to kind of create like an atmosphere, which you do through layering. And I just thought that's real interesting to play with. Um, Gosh, I think I kind of got away with from whole idea of bird brain. But I guess it's like just trying to take myself a little less seriously. I recognize I'm kind of like a young artist, and so I was trying to like, you know, build my career and getting lost in like, well, I think the people who buy my art are middle-aged women who like hummingbirds or something. And so I was just trying to paint hummingbird paintings all the time, and it got monotonous to me, and I think it showed in my art, and so like it just kind of like snowballed until this is all after COVID. It's like COVID kind of like set off like I don't know, things changed, and so I finally was just kind of decided. I think all artists kind of have to get to that point and kind of and discover in themselves that they just need to do what they want to do, right? Because that's where the fun and beautiful things are going to come from. And so I just kind of went back to my creativity when I was a kid, because when you're a kid, you're not worried about if you're going to sell a painting or not, right? And so I was just drawing animals and making them kind of people-like or something, which is interesting to look back on. That was kind of just like the natural inclination for myself as a kid, because later in my career, as I became more interested in ornithology and studying birds, I kind of started fighting that. I was like, because we have this habit of giving animals human characteristics, and that's bad science or whatever. But I think more than important than that is that we're happy and we enjoy it, right? And so I kind of let go of that burden a little bit, and so that's kind of, I don't know. Sure. Yeah. Well, it was when I first started the piece. It wasn't a perspective I was really aware of. Was that like I thought it was fun to have this bird on the head, and like what would someone's reaction be? And for some reason I didn't realize is like it's actually kind of a scary and maybe even dirty thing to have like a bird flapping around on your head, especially if it's getting like tangled in your hair or something. And I think that made for a really interesting, like conversation, and I always find that so interesting with art, where because you kind of end up finding people who think similarly and also people who think very different from you, right? So someone was like, "Oh my gosh, why is there a bird on this lady's head? That's terrible." You're like, "Oh gosh, I never thought that would be like a terrible thing." Yeah. So I'm a part of every process except for the actual pouring of the bronze. It's a long process, and gosh, I'll get around to it sometime, but it's daunting because I can spend months learning the shelling process, and if the shell breaks, then all of it just it leaks and it's done for. So the process of bronze making starts with a sculpture, and so I sculpt the sculpture. I make an armature, and I use oil-based clay to sculpt it so that it doesn't dry ever. And then I make a 2 or 3, sometimes 4-piece mold, and pour wax in there. And so then I'll chase the wax and bring the wax to Mad Casting up in Loveland. So it's always a fun journey. And on the way up to Loveland, you can stop by all the cool stores, the science store that has chemicals, or the clay store that we don't have here in the Colorado Springs. But I drop it off there, and 5 weeks later, I come and pick it up, and they have the pieces poured and with sprues. And I'll take them home and cut the sprues off and chase the bronze and then patina it. And so I got most of the processes done, but it's the pouring that's going to be a thing someday. Yeah.
What do you mean by chase?
Like filing it and cleaning it up, because it comes with sprues on it, because they'll sprue wherever's gonna like enable the piece to pour best. And so especially the pieces that have like textures, you have to create those textures again in bronze, which can be a challenge sometimes. And it's kind of fun to. So it's like with the hummingbirds, I like this brush texture that I was doing on the clay, and I came back with sprues, and I was like, how am I going to recreate that brush texture? And just using the file and not sanding it down kind of seemed to be the best way, which is real interesting. Yeah.
Then how about
Oh, the patinas have been so fun. It's like kind of like you were mentioning, like humor and dangerous. It's like patinas are so fun because they're like dangerous and also very interesting. And so you'll like read the patina book, you can be like, oh, this ferric nitrate will like you'll get like gray spots or something on your skin, or you'll get cancer or something like that. And so you cover yourself head to toe in like rubber, and you have a mask and everything. And my favorite ones were the patinas that used heat. So some patinas use heat, some don't. Um, Basically, what patinas do is they force and quicken the what oxidation would happen on the bronzes beforehand. Um, and so you put these chemicals like ferric nitrate or bismuth nitrate or cupric nitrate. Like cupric nitrate will be most of these greens that you see, and ferric nitrate is most of the reds, and bismuth kind of lightens it up a little bit. And so you mix it with water, and you put it on the piece, and you torch it. And it's been a real fun. There's a real artistry to it. So when you like learn about bronze making, it's like historically each part of the bronze making process was like different craftsmen, right? Like specialists, because it does take a long time to get really good at the things that you're doing in these instances. Uh, but but as an artist, I don't know. You can separate art and craft. I think artists kind of like explore and have at it, and I think craftsmen kind of perfect their craft. I guess maybe that's obvious, but so as an artist, I'm not like I'm not patining like someone who's learned patinas for like 50 years or something, right? But it's a very fun medium to work with, partly because it's so dangerous, but also like so when you're talking about like nitrates, there's like not very many different options or colors that you can do, right? Ferric's the red, cupric's the green, and the what's it called? Well, the liver of sulfur is like a blackish, right? And basically with those you layer them different ways to create different effects, and it's really interesting. You have a really limited kind of color palette in that way. But that's just the heated stuff. And in this series, I started having a lot of fun with just ammonium, right? And so that's a cold patina. So it's just mixed with ammonium chloride and ammonium and just ammonium and salt and what's the stuff in the brown bottle that you put in wounds? Uh, what? Yeah, hydrogen peroxide. Thank you. Yeah. And so you put all those together and you just spray it on the piece, and you let it sit for a day or so, and you get these. This one that was real fun. This like real bright kind of green, and you do it in different mixtures, and you'll get more blues or you'll get more greens, and and you're supposed to kind of wash away the crystals, the salts, the like the crusties afterwards. But I really like them, and so I put a lot of layers of varnish on there to keep them on there. But it's been fun playing around with those, which is perfect for me because that's what art's all about, is just like playing and learning new, techniques and ways of approaching things and stuff. Yeah, so I did some research to see if there's ways to like mask it, but because it's like torching, I didn't see anything. And so yeah, I sanded it all back afterwards. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, yeah, I really like playing with the contrast of like the patina and then just the regular bronze color. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for the question.